The effect of seatbelts can save lives. Today I will be persuading you to wear a seatbelt every time you're in a vehicle. Many lives are affected in negative ways due to the lack of wearing a seatbelt. Seatbelts can be what saves your life in a car accident. A young 16-year-old girl, her name is chosen to be kept private, was killed in a car accident because she didn't wear her seatbelt. According to the West Bend article published in July 25, 2017, the young girl had just got her license and was driving to school when all of a sudden she hit a patch of black ice and ran into a tree. She had a classmate in the car with her. The classmate was wearing her seatbelt, but the driver was not. She was ejected from the vehicle and then was later pronounced dead due to her severe injuries. If she had been wearing her seatbelt, then she could have possibly survived this terrible accident. 11.5% of Americans put their lives at risk by not wearing their seatbelts. According to an August 2016 Consumer Reports article, 25 people ignore the public service announcements of buckling up. I chose to speak on this topic because I recently turned 16 and just got my license, and I never know what could happen, so I always make sure to put my seatbelt on. Whenever you are in any kind of vehicle or situation, you should always buckle your seatbelt. First, we will talk about the importance of buckling up. Next, we will explore why people choose not to wear a seatbelt in the first place. Finally, we can discuss what we can all do to help others wear their seatbelts. Buckling up can only take someone 3 seconds to do. We will start off with the importance of wearing a seatbelt. The lack of wearing a seatbelt is what kills many lives in an accident. 47% of passengers that died in a car wreck died because they were not wearing their seatbelt. Seatbelts may be the reason that someone is alive today, so they should be worn at all times. The U.S. Department of Transportation states that seatbelts can save 15,000 lives in just 1 year. The rate of seatbelts saving lives was 90.4% in the year of 2021. Seatbelts used in passenger vehicles saved an estimated 14,955 lives in 2017. Everyone should buckle up because it can save your life, even if you're only driving a few miles. If you buckle up right when you get in the car, sitting either in the front seat or back seat, you are cutting your risk of fatal injury in a crash nearly in half. Those who are in the front seat of a car and are in an accident have a 50% chance of critical injuries and a 45% chance of death. You also cannot just count on the airbags to save your life because they can be dangerous too without a seatbelt on. You are better off to wear your seatbelt so that way you can be safe at all times. Now that we have talked about the importance of wearing seatbelts, we can talk about why people choose not to wear one. Wearing seatbelts is something that is mandatory. Whenever you are in the car with anyone, or if you're driving yourself, make sure everyone has their seatbelts on at all times. Some people complain that seatbelts aren't comfortable, and others think that they could never be in an accident, so they shouldn't have to wear one. Even if someone is a very good driver, it doesn't take but one thing to go wrong for there to be an accident. It could be the other person involved in the wreck that crashed into you, so it's always just safer to wear one. No matter the age you are, seatbelts should always be worn. Over half of the population claim that they just simply forget to put their seatbelts on in a car on occasion. 65% of people say that they choose not to wear their seatbelt because they are uncomfortable. Some say that they are just in too big of a hurry to buckle up, they don't have enough time. Others say that they don't want to wrinkle their clothes, never got used to wearing a seatbelt, there was light enough traffic on the roads that day, and because they knew someone who died in a car accident even while wearing a seatbelt. These are all just excuses of people not wanting to wear their seatbelts. Men are 10% less likely to wear seatbelts than women. Also, adults that live in rural areas are 10% less likely to wear seatbelts than those who live in city areas. Some people forget to buckle up, and it isn't just a habit for them. The BBC News article of September 28, 2018 says that people who are driving on a familiar route don't wear their seatbelts because they don't feel comfortable enough not to. Just because someone feels comfortable doesn't mean something bad couldn't happen to them. There could be a patch of black ice, another person could hit you, there could be an animal on the road that causes you to swerve, you could hydroplane in the rain, or there could be other distracting drivers. These are all things that could happen to any driver, no matter how much experience they have or sense of familiarity. Now that we have explored why people choose not to wear their seatbelt, we can finally talk about the solution to this problem. What do you think would happen if no one wore a seatbelt? The number of deaths in a car accident would increase immediately. It would be a very high percentage of deaths. If seatbelts are worn every time a person is in the car, then the percentage of deaths in a vehicle accident would start to decrease. Wearing a seatbelt in a car only takes a few seconds to do and start to become a habit. Putting on a seatbelt takes approximately 3 seconds to do. For how short enough of a time it takes to put on a seatbelt, it should be something done every time you're in a car because it can save your life. 3 seconds is worth the time instead of the cost of your life. If you fail to wear your seatbelt, then you could be the one ejected from the vehicle and dead. From the story in the beginning, the girl was ejected into the tree and was killed. You could also be slammed into the front windshield and be killed that way from any head injury or just being thrown against the window. Being ejected can cause catastrophic injuries that can last a lifetime, such as spinal cord injuries and traumatic brain injuries. Seatbelts are by far the most effective way of reducing the rate of potential ejection. We all need to remind ourselves and others to wear a seatbelt in any vehicle because it can save your life. Kids need to be reminded because if they forget and you're in a car wreck, it could end in death. Even if you are in a back seat of the car without a seatbelt on, you can be ejected and die due to the impact. If we all encourage our friends and family to wear a seatbelt, then we will start to see a decrease in the amount of deaths in a car wreck, and we will not have to worry about them when they're driving. Before any vehicle is started, the driver needs to make sure that everyone has their seatbelt on. The driver must also need to make sure that everyone's seatbelt is functioning correctly. Children that are young need to be in the appropriate seating for their age. Young infants need to be facing the seat in the car, and then at the age of 2, kids can face forward in their car seat, and then children who are 65 pounds and over 49 inches can be in a booster seat. It's important that we wear seatbelts no matter the circumstance. Wearing seatbelts is the solution to many car accidents. According to the Transportation Safety article of October 7, 2020, people ages 1 to 54 are more likely to die in a car wreck due to not wearing a seatbelt. Wearing seatbelts is an effective way to save lives and reduce injuries in a car wreck. The story of the young 16-year-old girl just shows how important wearing a seatbelt truly is. You should remind others to buckle up no matter the vehicle you're in or who you're riding with. You could significantly reduce the number of deaths due to car wrecks by buckling up. Wearing a seatbelt only takes a few seconds to do, and it can save your life. Thank you.